Dandadan. An anime so chaotic you never know what you're gonna get when you watch it. One second it's a budding romance, the next it's about yokais and alien abductions, and then you get an episode about the depressing nature of adulthood, child trafficking, and self-deletion. With that said, the story is awesome and the characters are beautifully written. So with season 2 on the way, let's do a recap of all you need to know before you watch it.
I'll let you suckle my teats, boy. If you let me gobble your dung.
This story starts with the main character Momo Ayasa having a fight with her current boyfriend because she refused to give him money and dish out sexual favors. He then broke up with her and she later reveals that she was only with him because he looks a lot like her favorite actor Ken Takakura, which her friends found to be very repulsive. Later that day, she was sulking through the hallways and she overheard one of her classmates getting bullied and chose to help him. Now this guy is clearly very awkward, so in his infinite wisdom and adept understanding of social interactions, he thought the best way to thank her was to bash her over the head with his love for aliens, which of course didn't play out that well.
That right there is why you got no friends!
With that said, she later says that she's interested in spirits, which led them to challenging each other to prove which one of those entities are indeed real. Later that night, they both arrive at their respective locations where this guy gets his nuts stolen by a spirit pervert and Momo gets abducted by aliens. Let's just say that these guys are trying to do things I'm not allowed to say on this platform.
We require the use of your banana organs.
What?
We shall have intercourse with you.
We then get the compulsory anime flashback showing that this guy was always fascinated with aliens and devoted his entire life to that research, even if it meant not having friends. While Momo, who didn't have any parents, grew up with her grandma who was also a spirit medium. She had to perform this good luck ritual to protect her from spirits, but everyone made fun of her for it, which caused some level of resentment between them. With that said, before the aliens could do the deed, this guy, who is now possessed by the pervert demon, teleports to the location and saves the day. Now I'm just kidding, he got washed, but the good thing is that Momo apparently had some hidden psychic powers which she used to defeat the pervert aliens and banish the evil spirit from his body. They then learn that the curse won't be fully lifted until the perverted granny demon returns his shalong. And she also has to continuously suppress the curse using her powers, so they're kinda stuck together. We then also come to find out something very important to the progression of the story, which is this guy's name, and shockingly, it's Ken Takakura. Yes, he has the same name as the actor Momo admires, which causes her to ban him from using his own name, so from today onwards, we can only refer to him as Okarun. She then took him to her granny's house, but he nearly got burnt alive crossing her gate because of a talisman used to keep out spirits. She then removed the talisman from the gate, but that allowed a monster called the Flatwood Demon to enter. He tries to attack them, but Okarun comes up with the idea to have Momo just partly suppress the curse, which allows him to use the powers of the pervert demon. The power was so immense that his body couldn't handle it, so Momo had to step in and defeat the demon herself. This left Momo severely fatigued and badly damaged, which caused her to lose consciousness, thus allowing the pervert demon to fully possess his body once again. Though just before she became spirit food, her granny named Seiko appeared and defeated the pervert demon. Momo later wakes up apologizing to Seiko for ever doubting that spirits were real. She then starts panicking, thinking Okarun is dead, and rushes over to where Seiko said his body was, only to find him chilling. Seiko then explains that the spirit they encountered is Turbo Granny, who is known as one of, if not the fastest yokai. The key to defeating her is simply to beat her in a race, which is where Okarun comes in. Since he also has the powers of Turbo Granny, they must train him to use that power to his advantage for the plan to work. Seiko also hints at Momo's powers being sealed off, so she can't go Super Saiyan anymore, which means she also has to train as well. Unfortunately for them, they don't have time to train since Turbo Granny possessed Okarun again after Momo lost focus for a bit and challenged them to a race that night, or she'll curse everyone around them to die. Seiko then prepped both of them with spirit-proof garments, gave her granddaughter a hug and sent them on their way. Oh, and by the way, just to be clear, Seiko isn't going with them because her power doesn't work outside of the region the god she borrowed it from resides in. Still crazy, but understandable. They finally arrive at the location, but Turbo Pervert gets a drop on them by sealing off the tunnel and taking back her powers from Okarun. Though just before she consumed them, Momo challenged her to a race, which she accepts. Momo then also requested that Granny counts out 10 minutes to give them an head start, which she also accepts but then cheats and captures them anyway. Okarun then bites into her tits and refuses to let go until she releases Momo, and Granny couldn't get him off due to the protective clothing Seiko gave him. She only had one choice at that point, which was to fully possess his body once again. Momo then used her power to suppress Granny, which allowed Okarun to take control of his body. A giant crab who also inhabits this tunnel apparently then shows up, but then gets cooked alive after they lured it into a hot spring. They then get chased across town by zombies. Turbo Granny gets released and merges with the crab spirit, but then gets led into a trap set by Seiko and blown into pieces. Seiko then reveals that Turbo Granny was a spirit that comforted the young girls who got murdered in that tunnel, so they paid their respects and called it a day. They both said their goodbyes, and it's kinda awkward because, this is partly a story about romance, so, it's par for the course. They then met up at school the next day, but they're both confused about the status of their relationship, so there's a bit of awkwardness again. At lunch, they met up again and accidentally touched lips because I don't know if you can consider that a kiss, but to each his own. In any case, her friends saw what happened, so Momo lashes out at Okarun and stopped talking to him for a bit. Okarun then goes to the bathroom and notices that he still doesn't have his nuts back, so he rushes over to Momo for help, but she told him to take a hike. We then got introduced to Ira, who Okarun bumped into in the hallway. She seems sweet at first, but Momo overheard her shit-talking Okarun and uses her powers to drop a bucket on her head. They then clear things up after school, and Okarun reveals to Momo that his balls are missing, and Seiko instantly realizes what's going on. She then does this weird ritual, which is how they find out that Turbo Granny was still hiding inside Okarun's body. They both then combine their powers to remove the spirit and place it inside this cat figurine that seemingly has some spiritual powers. Turbo Granny then triggers Okarun's transformation and offers to return his balls if he kills Seiko and Momo, but he refuses to do so. Momo then flipped the script and says they will return Turbo Granny's powers if she returns his balls, which she agreed to, but the only issue is that she lost them. The search for Okarun's Shalong has now begun, and apparently Ira has one of them. It's also later revealed that Ira now has the ability to see spirits and Momo's ability due to her possessing one of Okarun's nuts, which are also now imbued with Turbo Granny's spiritual energy. This, of course, leads her to believe that Momo is a demon and tries to sabotage her by spreading rumors about her being a 304. Okarun also learns of this and used this power to intimidate the guys that were laughing about it before heading to find Momo. Ira then lures Momo to an abandoned facility to kill her because again, she thinks she's a demon, but that's when a spirit known as the acrobat Silky shows up. Okarun also arrives just in time to battle Silky, but she consumes them anyway. Though Momo was able to save them by lighting her hair on fire from the inside, which causes Silky to spit them out. They then fight for a bit, which was amazing by the way, but after defeating Silky, it's then revealed that Ira is dead. Silky then offers her aura or battery to revive her, which reveals a tragic past of a single mother who self-deleted after her daughter was taken from her. Probably one of the saddest episodes in anime ever, but you guys haven't seen anything yet, trust me. Now Ira is back, Silky starts to fade away, and Turbo Granny notes that she will be forgotten forever. So Ira hugs her and calls her mother, allowing her to pass on peacefully. With that said, we're now back to regular programming. Ira still thinks Momo is a demon who's using her power to abuse Okarun, so she promises to find a way to defeat her. Okarun himself is now self-conscious to some extent about his own strength outside of Granny's power, so he starts to physically train himself to make himself strong enough to protect Momo. Ira now has a crush on Okarun as well, for some reason, so she tries to kiss him, but he falls on top of her instead while trying to avoid it. Momo sees this and got the wrong impression of course, so she goes off on Okarun. Though of course before they could resolve their differences, the school is seemingly flooded and only those with spiritual powers are present. It is then revealed that they were pulled into a parallel dimension of sort, which is referred to as an empty space. The Serpo aliens returned with the assistance of a literal dinosaur known as Nessie and a mantis-looking alien, who then faced off against Momo, Okarun, and Ira, who apparently now has the powers of Acrobat Silky. They get trapped later on and Okarun tries to explain his feelings for Momo but got interrupted by the now powered up mantis alien. All three of them then combine their powers to defeat them and break out of the fate dimension, landing naked in the middle of the school hallway. Okarun later gets a chance to explain what really happened with Ira, and Okarun kinda soft confesses his feelings for Momo, but not really, but you can tell that she knows what he's trying to say. It also did seem as if she was going to confess as well, but that's when her friends stormed in telling them about the rumors. Now Ira then decides to confess that she made up those rumors to spare Momo the embarrassment because she kinda likes her now even if she doesn't want to admit it. Then the same Dober mantis alien from the attack before appeared before them and then collapsed. Turns out it's just a broke alien dad trying to make money to help his son that's sick and dying. Seiko figures out that the blood of this alien is pretty much milk, so they gave him a cow and sent him on his way. We then move into the current saga when Gigi, Momo's childhood friend, shows up. He was also one of the kids who made fun of her, by the way, but Okarun gets jealous because it's also revealed that he's Momo's childhood crush. Gigi is also staying with them because his parents are in the hospital for some reason, so, GG's. In any case, Okarun isn't going to give up, so he starts training harder to up his physique, but that's when a mannequin seemingly carrying his other missing nut rushes past them. Now, they did catch up to him, but the shiny object was just a regular ornament, so they decided to help him. He was apparently searching for the love of his life, who wasn't in the best of conditions, I will say, but that didn't stop him from confessing his love for her. Seeing this also inspired Okarun, so he promises to keep Momo safe. They then make an arrangement to have the running man visit his lover once a while since he has to be back at the school before daybreak, which is something he does every day. And seeing this also shapes how Momo sees her relationship with Okarun as well. Next up is Gigi's haunted house, and once again Seiko sent Momo and Okarun to handle it because their power doesn't work in that region. Momo then leaves them at the house and goes to a hot spring where she's attacked by some old gooners, but Granny comes to the rescue using her Lucky Charm powers, so she's able to escape. We then skip back to the house where Okarun and Gigi discovers a hidden room filled with talismans, and that's where the season ends. So yeah, season 2 is on the way and we're adapting Evil Eye, so that's gonna be amazing and hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to see more videos covering this season and even a complete story video, let me know in the comment section. With that said, if you guys are okay with being spoiled, check out my video on why Okarun has secret spiritual powers or why Momo is an alien.